Okay, we're back. Any questions, comments, or observations? Yes. Good question. The question was, what about people that are not members of secret societies, who have not been taught about the law of attraction, don't know anything about it, but have incredible success in their life? How do they achieve that? And the answer is, the law of attraction works whether you know about it or not. Your brain transmits frequencies 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It receives frequencies. Whether you're consciously doing that or not, that's what your brain does. Everything on the planet vibrates. Whether you know about it or not, that's what it does. So whether you know about the law of attraction or not, and whether you're using these concepts consciously or not, they still exist. And the fact is, the law of attraction is working in your life and everyone's life, whether they know it or not. When you see how it works, you'll understand why you have succeeded, why you have gotten things in your life that you wanted, and also why you have gotten things in your life you didn't want, or why you haven't succeeded. Because you'll now see that you have been doing this unconsciously all along. And the law of attraction has been working all along. See, whether you know about it or not is irrelevant. It works, it happens, it's there. So for those people that, quote, don't know anything about the law of attraction or how these techniques work, they're doing this anyway. They're just doing it instinctively. They're doing it automatically, maybe because by trial and error, or maybe they don't even know what they're doing, they're just doing it. You look at great athletes, for example, great golfers or various musicians that have, quote, natural talent. When a teacher looks at what they're doing, these individuals have figured it out on their own, and they're doing it not knowing that there's a law or there's a principle or this is how the physical universe is constructed. They're just doing it. So that's the reason why some people who, quote, don't know about this are getting incredible success in their life, getting the things they want, are blissfully happy, have great relationships, etc. They're doing it anyway. But it's much easier when you actually know the mechanics, when you know the recipe, so that you can apply it. Much more effective. Any other comments? Yes. Well, thank you. The comment was that she can't believe how easy and logical this is, and I appreciate the comment. Thank you very much. I hope I'm presenting this material in a way that's easy to grasp and digest and understand. And again, those here in the room have a huge advantage. I mean, you're from all over the world. I'm not sure how many countries here are represented by our participants, but my colleagues, eight countries around the world. And again, you have a big advantage being here because you're not only seeing the physical evidence that this works, but you're meeting people that some of you have heard about, read about, know, and are getting information directly from them and seeing that this is, not pie in the sky, not guru land or motivational speaker world or that type of thing, but the real deal, the people at the highest levels in both world governments and in business. And again, I'd like to just thank again my colleagues for coming forward. I think this is the first time in history when Napoleon Hill was taught this information from Andrew Carnegie, a member of the Brotherhood, and started sharing this back at the turn of the century. It was really the first time this was being leaked from a resident member. And that information was strictly on the money side and the financial or economic side. But this is the first time in history that so many people have come out from the various societies and collectively bound together, as we have, as part of the Global Information Network, and being willing to reveal to the masses, for those people who are serious. But again, we made a commitment that we would not just share this with every single person and shove it down anybody's throat, that we'd make this information available to you. But you had to have a high willingness to learn. You had to have a high willingness to learn, which means you're going to have to be willing to give up the thing you love, time and money. You know, how do you determine what is your willingness to learn? I think one of the easiest ways, as I mentioned, is, you know, are you willing to give up something you love? If you love golf, if you love TV, are you willing to give that up to learn this? But there's something else. Are you willing to give up money? And I'm going to talk about why that's really significant if you're willing to give up some money to learn this information and get educated, because that really determines how high your willingness to learn is and how teachable you are. And then, of course, what is your willingness to accept change? You know, this information can be radically different than what you've thought about in the past, but be willing to really accept change and do things different and think things different is going to create different results. So we've talked about, any other comments, questions? Okay, good. We've talked about how the universe works. Everything's made up of energy that vibrates at different frequencies. That's all everything is, including us. That our brains can transmit and do transmit 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, frequencies. We have the ability to choose those frequencies, and we have the ability to determine the power and intensity of the frequency and the duration that frequency is being broadcast. Now, how long is that frequency being broadcast? So when we put out a frequency, if we increase the power and intensity and increase the duration in which that frequency is broadcast, then a matching frequency will come to us like a magnet, like as fast as you can imagine. Because when we put out a frequency with our brain, with power and intensity, over a long duration, then everything on the planet and everything in the universe is working together to match that frequency and bring it to you. And it will happen incredibly fast. With practice, when you get to unconscious competence, it'll happen faster and faster and faster. You'll be able to dial in the frequency exactly the way you want. I'm going to teach you how to do that. Increase the power and intensity and keep the duration long enough so that it activates everything in the universe so that it draws to you like a magnet and comes rushing towards you. Think about it this way. What you want wants you. What you want wants you. And all you have to do is activate it, and it comes rushing to you. There's a magnetic pull. You can attract money like a magnet. You can attract your lover, the best relationship like a magnet. You can attract things into your existence, friends, social status, accolades, success, achievement, happiness, bliss. You can attract anything and everything you want. You can be, do, or have anything you want. As Napoleon Hill said, anything the mind of man can conceive, which means anything you can dream, anything you can imagine, anything you can desire. Napoleon Hill said, anything the mind of man can conceive, comma, and bring itself to believe, comma, it can achieve. Which means any and everything you can dream of, any and every desire, anything and everything you want to be, do, or have, if you believe, which we'll talk about, that's a key element, you will have it. And the method in which that is achieved, the method in which you command your genie to give you what you want, is by putting out the frequency of what you want, increasing the power and intensity, keeping the duration long enough, and it will come rushing toward you. It has to by law. It's the law of attraction, which is senior to the law of gravity or any law in the physical universe. It's how everything works. You cannot deny it. You can't scientifically foo-foo it away. Quite the opposite. Every bit of scientific evidence and proof shows it works. And again, you now have the luxury that I have had where you can see physical evidence that it works and meet real people. And not just, Joe Smith who runs the diner or the dry cleaner or a very successful teacher. And there's nothing wrong with those people or professions because they may be using this technique as well. But you're looking at people who have used this not only with themselves but their families. And some of the people here in the room, the royal families here, which we're grateful are here, through, decades and decades and decades, in ruling lands. I mean, this is something that is passed down generationally. So this is something that really works. Now, Napoleon Hill, I mentioned his story, how he learned this from Andrew Carnegie at the turn of the century, the richest man in the world. He puts it this way. He said the key to success is one thing. One, define your dream. That's number one. Define your dream. Now what that means is it means clearly know or define what you want. So in order for you to achieve things in your life, you need to know what you want. You go to a restaurant and get the menu. You need to decide what you want so you can order it. You can just say, bring me some food, because you may want food. That's fine, you'll get some food. But it may not be exactly to your liking. But if you want something specific, you can ask for something specific in the restaurant, order it, and it will come to you. Life is the same way. Define your dream. Determine and define exactly what you want. That's the first thing he said. He said the key that he learned from Carnegie was define your dream. And then secondly, get a burning desire for its achievement. Again, this was language back at the turn of the century, so I'm going to kind of translate. And I'm sorry I'm translating in English for those of you whose first language here is not English. Define your dream. Determine exactly what you want, clearly identify what you want, and then get a burning desire for its achievement. So the question is, what is the definition of burning desire? What is the definition of define your dream? We're going to talk about that. So how do we get a burning desire? How do we define our dream? We're going to talk about this. And this is really a key element. Now we're getting into kind of the specific techniques on how to apply the basic principle, which is use your brain, transmit a frequency with power and intensity, keep that transmission over a long duration, and then it will come. Now there's one thing, if you do that, there's one thing that could hinder it, which we'll talk about later, but let's just talk about how Napoleon Hill defined those mechanics in English, which is define your dream. So let's put it now into real working practice. First off,